If you wouldn't follow yourself, why should anyone else? The first person you should lead is yourself. Don't wait until the pressure's on to make a character choice. If you become the leader you ought to be on the inside, you will become the leader you want to be on the outside. Quality number 13. The 13th quality I want to talk to you about that leaders possess is a positive attitude. William James, who really impacted my life as a teenager, said these words: "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitude of mind." My father, many people know this, paid my older brother, myself, and my younger sister our allowance based on books that we read. And when he placed William James' book, As a Man Thinketh, in my hands, he gave me one of the greatest gifts I ever had. And as a teenager, I began to understand the power of the attitude. So let me give you some positive attitude principles, such as one, your attitude can be your most valuable asset. But your attitude can be your biggest liability. Your attitude often determines whether you are going to win or lose. Dennis Waitley, in his book, The Winner's Edge, stated that the real leaders in business, in the professional community, in education, government, and in the home also seem to draw upon a spatial cutting edge that separates them from the rest of society. The winner's edge is not in a gifted birth or a high IQ or in talent. The winner's edge is in attitude, not aptitude. Many years ago, I can remember in a hotel room in Houston, I sat down with a legal pad and I decided I would spend my evening trying to describe and define attitude, because attitude is very subjective. So I thought, how can I make attitude tangible? How can I help people get a handle on it? I remember that evening. It was many years ago now, probably a good 20. Here's what I wrote. Attitude is the advanced man of our true selves. Its roots are inward, but its fruit is outward. It's our best friend or our worst enemy. It's more honest and more consistent than our words. It's an outward look based on past experiences. It's the thing which draws people to us or repels them from us. It's never content until it's expressed. It's the librarian of our past. It's the speaker of our present. It's also the prophet of our future. That's what an attitude is. Your attitude and my attitude is the John the Baptist of our life. It goes before us saying, He is coming. He is coming. He is coming. The second thing I would want you to note is that your attitude is a choice. That's a fact. Just a couple of months ago while in Europe, I spent 3 days with a marvelous, marvelous guide because I wanted to go to Berlin and really do some World War II stuff. And so we just had an incredible time. And a lot of things I learned. It was an amazing experience. But one of the things that was probably the hardest thing of all was going to a concentration camp. And reading the words and seeing the pictures and standing where so many people were so wrongly treated. One of the people that spent time in a concentration camp was Viktor Frankl. He was a psychologist, and in your notes, he said something that was powerful. He said, the last of our human freedoms is to choose our attitude in any given circumstances. He knew the truth of that statement because he survived imprisonment in a Nazi death camp, and throughout his ordeal, he wouldn't allow his attitude to deteriorate. You know what Viktor Frankl knew? Viktor Frankl realized that he could not choose his circumstances, but he could choose his attitude in the midst of his circumstances. Often I've said, I cannot always help what people do to me, but I can always help what I do to them. I can always choose my response to others. Our attitude's a choice. Thirdly, our attitude continually needs adjustment. David Brinkley said, a successful man is one who can lay a firm foundation with the bricks others have thrown at him. And attitude adjustments are needed during difficult times. Huh? Isn't that true? How many of you on occasion need an attitude adjustment? Huh? Our spouse tells us, isn't that right, huh? And what I have learned is it's during the difficult times that our attitude usually gets out of whack. I've talked to many times and said, when you're winning, nothing hurts. Can I tell you something? When you're losing, everything hurts. And our attitude seems to kind of follow along sometimes those negative times. So let me give you 5 attitude adjustments that would just help you in keeping your attitude right. Number 1, keep perspective. Just keep perspective. What I find is every day I need to just see the whole picture. Because sometimes I see one part of the picture and it's not any good and it's very negative and I don't like it and I want to change it. And sometimes I can't change it because I'm in a situation or circumstances and I just need to see the big picture. I was on the West Coast doing a conference for my friend Todd Duncan lately. And we had a little afternoon off, so we went out and played some golf. And Todd's a pretty good golfer, but that day his golf game wasn't really good. And I think he hit 3 golf balls in the water. And I could tell he was just at the end of himself. Now, Todd also had been telling me as we were talking that his conference had 1,000 more people than he had expected. I mean, like 2,400 people. They were expecting 1,400, had major registrations, were doing extremely well. And so I was trying to help Todd. And Todd, when he put his 3rd golf ball in the water, I could tell he really wanted to put his golf clubs in the water. And I said, Todd, keep perspective. 1,000 more people registered at this conference than you ever expected. See the big picture. In fact, if you would have known 1,000 more people were going to come and attend this conference than you expected, you would have given your golf clubs away. You would have thrown them in the water. I'd have thrown them in the water with you. I'd have thrown my golf clubs in the water. Keep perspective. And I'm here to tell you that's exactly what you have to do. You have to see the big picture. Number 2, talk to yourself. Just talk to yourself. You say, oh, hey, I'm good at that. Hello. English heart surgeon Martin Lloyd-Jones asserted, most unhappiness in life is due to the fact that you are listening to yourself rather than talking to yourself. Hello? Anybody home? Don't we listen to ourselves? Oh, yeah, oh, this is awful. Wow. I mean, hey, isn't that right? Hey, we listen to ourselves instead of talk to ourselves. Number 3, laugh at yourself. This is so healthy. Learn to laugh at yourself. And I have always said, if you learn to laugh at yourself first, it's a lot better than people laughing at you. And just you know what, when you do something stupid, just say I did something stupid. I made a mistake. I was talking to a leader the other day, and I told him, I said, admit your weaknesses to your team. I said, tell them that you're not any good at that. And he was kind of an insecure guy, and so he kind of pulled me on the side. I said, do you really think I ought to sit down with my team and admit my weak areas? I said, yeah, I do. I said, trust me on this. They already know your weak area. In fact, when you tell them your weak areas, they're going to say, whew, he knows. Somebody thought they were going to have to tell you. Just laugh at yourself. Number 4, allow whining for a short time. Margaret and I laugh about this for a while, and we say nothing's wrong with whining as long as it's a minute or less. You understand? So just whine. When the minute's over, shut up. You know what I'm saying? Just don't let whining control your life. And by the way, don't you hate to be around a whiner? Oh my goodness, sakes alive. Number 5. Watch out for what I call attitude deflators. I'm talking about people now who who just will deflate your attitude. People that will take your attitude edge off of your life. You know what I'm talking about? Just, you've got to watch out. Somebody asked me one time and said, well, okay, John, he said, we all have those people around us, and don't we all have somebody like, how many of you have at least one attitude deflator around you, huh? Again, how many of you are sitting beside that person right now? Okay, don't get it. Somebody said, well, what do you do with an attitude deflator? I said, it's very simple. When you see them coming and they start dropping all this stuff on you, take this hand, this finger, stick it in this ear. This hand, this finger, in this ear. Now, watch how I do that. Don't try to do this. It's very complicated. Put those fingers in the ear, and when they start doing that stuff, just close your eyes and go, ah! I promise you, they'll stop. And not only will they stop, I promise you the next time they come and want to drop that stuff on you, all you've got to do is go about right here. Chris Evert said it right when she was talking about professional athletes and great talent. But the mind is what elevates the best to the highest level. For example, when you look at Chris, one of the greatest female athletes of all time, she holds 18 Grand Slam titles, overall win-loss record of 1,309 wins against 146 losses. In her 17-year career, she was never below number 4. She commented, and here's what I want you to see. The thing that separates good players from great ones is mental attitude. It might only make a difference of 2 or 3 points in an entire match. But how you play those key points often makes the difference between winning and losing. If the mind is strong, you can do almost anything you want.